Ready or not, it's that time. One, two. Here we go. Standing outside the door of love and mercy, you wonder if there's a place there for you. You know there's peace inside, but still you're searching for someone who understands the pain you go through. For the Father waits with open arms. He's calling out your name. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in, come on in. You'll find a place of rest and illumination where God within you helps you to light your way. He knows the peace you need and the hurt you're feeling. He loves to hold you and to wipe your tears away. Till the doors are locked, the lights are on. What are you waiting for? Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in. Well, there's room enough in this home of love for someone just like you. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in, come on in. All right.
Good morning. Happy picnic day. All right. So for the youth and family ministries, our younger classes lesson today, we're still doing the power of strength for the month of March. The teens are still working on their series of lessons for manifestation. And afterwards today for the picnic, we are going to have a craft table to paint sun catchers. And we are also going to have some field games out in the clubhouse field in the back. So between 12:30 and 1:30, bring the kiddos over for that. And parents, as every Sunday, please make sure you always have eyes on your own kiddos. Our sacred safety and our kids is very important to us. We don't want anything to happen or anyone to go wandering and just help us keep them safe. All right, so Miss Nancy, Reverend Nancy, do you have a question for us?
All right, so here's the question. Older kids too. So the question today is, what makes you decide to hang out with the people you like? What do you like about the people you hang out with? Go ahead, Emma.
They're nice.
Okay, they're nice. What else?
She's
Do you
staring
know
straight
why
at
you
Mel.
like the people?
we already collected a number thanks to Karen Rohde, who's been busy doing that. But if you have some prom dresses, your girls have grown up, and those dresses are still in the closet, along with the shoes and all their accessories, please consider bringing them to Unity of Tampa by Sunday, March the 29th. All right? Okay, paint your heart out. By the way, doesn't the fellowship hall look really good? I'm telling you. It's our own version of the White House. I like that. Okay. All right. Paint your heart out, April the 18th. People who are part of Earth Care, we generally throw our talents and our sweat equity into that. So please keep that in mind. Because Arbor Day is the 22nd, it's too hard to coordinate two events. So we do Paint Your Heart Out. Okay. Yes.
There's still availability in Hillsborough County. If anyone is a senior, a vet, to get your house painted. Last year we painted one of our own houses.
Yeah.
Of members. So
Right,
if
right.
anyone's
Candy
out there in
Norris.
need,
This year,
yes.
we're painting one of our own houses.
Yeah? Well, who's the lucky recipient? Can we divulge that? Oh. Okay, nice. Great, great. All right. So please plan on participating. Okay, past life regression workshop. Who's heading this up? Do you want to say anything about this, Michael?
If you haven't ever experienced a past life regression, please come and try it out. It's at least great fun.
Okay. All right. Very good. I thought I only had one life to live, but maybe I know. Okay. I can go back in the past. All right. Happy birthdays. We've got on the 21st. Oh, was Elba Ramos. You know, you share a birthday with my mother, who turned 101. She flew solo to Dodgeville, Wisconsin, so she could do her favorite folk dancing, her Scandinavian folk dancing. So should you live as long as my mom? Man, that's great. Okay. What's that?
You're like your mother.
I'm a mama's boy. Is that what you're saying? All right. All right. Tony Ronan, are you here? No. Okay. Birthday, 323. And then Jihan Abdullah, you're the NGU, the new generation, 327. Are you here?
She's in Unity Village today.
Oh, okay. Well, happy birthday from far away. And Bobby Biggs on the 28th. Is he around? Nope. All right. Everybody's in absentia. Well, happy birthday. Well, let's all sing to them. And
Thanks, Hanson.
You're welcome.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, God loves you. Happy birthday to you.
Before we get started, good morning, everybody. Before I get up there, I wanted to give the mic to Kenneth Klum, and he wanted to say a few words. It's his first day back with us in a very long time, and I
51
wanted to,
years.
yes.
I was in YU in Tampa back in the 80s. So back in October, I ended up in the hospital. And I made the decision November 14th to have my leg amputated. And I want to say, all of y'all, Elliot, thank you for all the prayers. It got me through this, and Tampa Unity got me through this extraordinary.
It's okay. We love you.
This hard decision to get my leg amputated. From October till February 1st, I was in nursing home and the hospital. And your prayers got me through it, and I appreciate every one of you. God bless you, all of y'all.
so great to have you back. We've been writing for a long time, so it's really nice to have you back, and it's great to have you all with us. Picnic day. You know, if I can't get anybody to come to church, food does. So I'm all good with that. So how many people worked on reframing their experiences this past week? Come on. All right, so I want you to keep working at that. That's a really important tool for us. There's only one problem with that, the reframing. I ran into one snack. So Melody and I did a whole bunch of yard work while she was off school, and Jeffrey was with us. I just didn't let him do any kneeling or anything, but we worked our butts off. And the next day I thought, I'm going to reframe how badly I feel and say, look at the beautiful yard. And then I thought, but can I walk there to see it? So as the back of my legs were like, oh my God. So I kept telling myself, look at the beauty, look at the beauty, look at the beauty. And then I forgot how bad I felt. So I'm just saying, good to be reframing. Oh, you don't need to clap for that. That was just a hot mess. Okay, so first thing I want to mention, so shout out to all of our online audience. Susan, I got your text. Glad you guys are watching today. And thanks to everybody, including Dave and Linda in Colorado, for the lovely card you sent. I really appreciate it. Made me laugh. And anyone who got an email from me yesterday asking for help, it was not me. So I just want you to know somebody made up an email that isn't even mine and sent out messages in my name yesterday. And I got a whole bunch of texts and calls saying that I was looking for people. So I just want you to know there's only one email address I use, and if I needed you to get me something financially, I would call you. So the email said I was trying to help somebody and needed people to send gift cards. I would never do that. So I'm just telling you in advance, do not ever think I would contact you in that way, okay? That's the way life is right now. Just, that's the way it is. But just, people are desperate and we just need to let that be.
Email said, I can't talk right now. I'm like, no, that's not me.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. True statement. All right. I have 3 gratitude things I want to share. First, I want to tell you that Jahan, as you heard a few minutes ago, is at Unity Village, but she gave the keynote speech there for NGU yesterday morning. And I'm so proud of her. We worked together and she let me help her, and I was so proud. And Katie's out there with her. But she knocked it out of the park yesterday morning at the village. So when she comes back next week, and it's her birthday this week, when she comes back, I want you, if you see her, to please congratulate her. That was a big, big, big moment in her life. So I'm very proud of her. And Katie, of course. And they're leading the St. Pete Tampa chapter for NGU, Next Generation Unity, aged 18 to 40, okay? If you're in that range, see them. Second thing I want to do is thank our socialites for this amazing picnic we're having today and all the work. Stand up if you help make today happen, please. And there's a whole bunch of people over in the kitchen right now as well, and Corey is grilling. So be sure and thank them for the wonderful work they did. And third, I want to thank these 2 gentlemen for leading our choir this past Wednesday. And all of you who showed up at choir, stand up. If you can stand up, yes. All right, so we had a great turnout on Wednesday, thank you. And if you didn't get to come and you're interested in singing on Easter, join us. We love choir, so we'll welcome you anytime. And then the third thing, what was the third thing? Oh, those are all three. I did do it. Okay, so I'm moving on. Let's say our affirmation together. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life. God the good, omnipotent.
And I forgot to add.
That's all right. I'll repeat it out. So this is the prayer that we have been saying to hold the country together. I'll recite it. If you know it, say it with me. One presence, one power, God. We are one family, one heart, called to peace, love, strength, and action. Divine wisdom guides us now. We're going to keep saying it at the encouragement of Kathy Arnold and hold our country in prayer and the world in prayer. All right, wholeness is today's daily word. And here's what it says for the affirmation. Wholeness is the unshakable, eternal truth of me. It is comforting to remember, no matter what may happen to me in the world, that I am always whole. Even during times of illness or insufficiency, my true nature is of divine wholeness. Worldly situations will always be in a state of flux, changing and shifting in ways that I cannot control. So I do what I can to tend to my own health and my other needs. But I do not worry over things I cannot control. Let me repeat that. I do not worry over things that I cannot control. Instead, I rely upon my prayer life and other spiritual practices to claim my wholeness. This is the enduring truth of who I am, whole, complete, regardless of any outside circumstances or appearances. How liberating is it to know that I am secure in God, complete at all times, spiritually perfect, and infinitely blessed. And the verse they chose for this is, for in him the whole fullness of deity dwells bodily, and you have come to fullness in him, who is the head of every ruler and authority. Okay, we get to sing one of my favorites today.
Will you guys stand and sing this with us? We're going to lead into Easter with this tune as a sing-along, so here we go. Let the Spirit of our God rise among us. Let the Spirit of our God rise among us. Let the Spirit of our God rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, 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 let it rise. Let the love within our hearts rise among us. Let the love within our hearts rise among us. Let the love within our hearts rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, let it rise. Let the peace around the world rise among us. Let the peace around the world rise among us. Let the peace around the world rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, 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 let it rise. Back to Spirit of our God. Here we go. Let the Spirit of our God rise among us. Let the Spirit of our God rise among us. Let the Spirit of our God rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, so we'll sing that one for a few weeks, and you guys are going to be in for a treat when the choir joins us for that sing along on Easter.
Little teaser. Little teaser. All right, so I'm really excited to tell you this story today, good news story, because it's about my godson, and it was an article written about him, and I was so proud to read this. So here's the story. 30-year-old Su Ping Lu, who goes by the name Davis, is an international student from Taiwan that's attending the University of Florida. This is his second year. He's a grad student. He came to the U.S. with his wife to study aerospace engineering. So, Davis was in need of friends, didn't know anyone where he was going to school, and he posts an ad on Facebook Marketplace, which, as some of you may know, is used to sell items. Buy and sell items, and my godson answers it. Robbie is a 20-year-old sophomore at the university, and he's studying mechanical engineering, and you've seen him when he comes to town to stay with us. So he comes across the post, and he decides to reach out and invite Davis to what is called Mass and Meal at the Florida Catholic Gators. So here comes Davis for his first time, and Robbie was quoted as saying he came just to the meal part the first 2 times, and then he started asking, who is this Jesus guy? And then he came into Mass, and he printed out the pamphlet, it says, on his own in Mandarin. And then he printed it out in English as well. Primary religions in Taiwan are Buddhism and Taoism, and Davis had never been introduced to Christianity before arriving in the U.S. And Davis said this in the article. In Taiwan, there are a lot of gods, and every god has an independent story, and none of them connect with each other. So it becomes very confusing. It's like chaos, he said. That's when I read the books that Robbie gave me. I found all of this very logical. In Genesis, God creates humans. Then something happens from the prophets. Then Jesus comes to earth, saves the humans. It's all logical, he said. So I became very curious about the story. So it says, after winter break, Davis attends a mass where the reading that day was on the baptism of Jesus. During Mass, the Father explained that even though Jesus was without sin, he chose to stand with the sinner. So it's like he was walking the path of obedience to set an example for us. And it really hit me straight to my heart. So this is a miracle I can't explain. It's like God was speaking to me and then gave me the answer. This is a young man. So Davis is now a part of the Order of Christian Initiation of Adults. He'll be entering the church this Easter with Robbie, which means Robbie won't be spending Easter with me. And Robbie will be his sponsor, and Davis hopes his wife, who's supportive of his decision, will join him one day. Robbie and Davis have become great friends during this journey, and Robbie says the experience has grown his own faith. He said, I think that God can use any source, any moment in your life, any place in your life to spread the gospel through something like Facebook Marketplace or even just in class. And the constant spreading of the gospel to a stranger in the slightest way, like an invitation to church, can change the trajectory of someone's whole life. Isn't that great? I just love the story. Yeah, you know, Robbie called me before this article came out and told me all about Davis. Hey, Nancy, you got to hear this wild story. I met this guy on Marketplace. I'm like, what? You did what? Does your dad know? Um, and we had this great talk, and then he flagged me this article, and I was just so darn proud of him. So thanks for letting me share that today. All right, let's get ready for meditation and do some learning.
I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and all I am, and all I do is a blessing to singing you. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and all you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. Singing we are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and all we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world. You're a blessing to the world.
I hope you take those words we sang in, because you really are a blessing to this world, and you're definitely a blessing to us here, especially me. I'm grateful for every person who is a part of our community. So I invite you just to take a few deep breaths. Just allow yourself to relax and let go of everything on your mind. One of the important parts of taking time for meditation is to clear our consciousness. Just allow ourselves to rest. And I invite you just to take in the words that I share if they feel right for you. Let go of the ones that don't. Today, I focus my attention on reimagining life without suffering. As I breathe in and out gently, I imagine a soft tide moving in and out. And I picture a world where pain is not my teacher. Instead, joy is my guide. I let compassion and peace form the foundation of my existence, where my heart knows only kindness, and my soul is free to grow without fear or sorrow. And as I exhale, I release the burdens that suffering has placed upon my heart. And I allow myself to dwell in the assurance of unconditional love at all times. In this sacred vision, my challenges transform into opportunities for growth without the shadow of despair. It is here that connection replaces loneliness and gratitude becomes the language of my everyday thoughts and expressions. I reflect on how my choices, my relationships, my dreams might blossom in such an existence. And I carry that gentle hope with me as a quiet blessing, illuminating each step of my journey. I breathe deeper and sense the profound harmony that arises when the absence of suffering opens space for me to be creative and explore and wonder. My heart, when it's unburdened, is free to give and receive love without hesitation. And each moment unfolds as an invitation for me to discover the beauty in every new beginning. I envision a community where empathy flows freely, where support is given without judgment, and every person's story is honored. From this perspective, the past holds only lessons, never regrets. I celebrate the miracle of being as I rest now in the silence. The possibility of reimagining life invites hope, healing, and transformation. And as I gently come back to this moment, I allow this time to prepare me for what it is I am to learn or hear today. And I am relaxed, refreshed, and centered in peace. Good morning, Logan and Everett. So, today we begin the final week of our 40 days of release and reimagine. Next week is Palm Sunday. And last week, as I mentioned earlier, we talked about reframing our experiences so that we can eliminate anxiety. And this week, our challenge is to reimagine life without suffering. Now, you may be thinking that's impossible, but I want you to hear me out. So, I want to begin by asking two questions of us. First, what would life look like without suffering? And second, what steps would we be willing to take to experience life without suffering? And oddly enough, one of my inspirations for today's topic actually came from the most unusual place. Seriously, you're not going to believe this. In January of 2025, the outgoing U.S. Surgeon General wrote a parting prescription for healing America. And his message was so simple and spiritual at its core. And I've been saving it this whole past year, waiting for an opportunity that I felt inspired to talk about this. And the core message from him was choose community. Choose community. He said this was not a social suggestion, but rather an invitation for us to reimagine life beyond the conditions of our circumstances that create suffering. And the insights he provides in this article were surprisingly aligned with unity teachings. So, the first one he talks about is that suffering comes from the illusion that we believe we're separate from God and from each other. First, he talks about this great deficiency of connectivity in our country, which he refers to as the root cause of loneliness, declining health, and widespread unhappiness. Now, you know, I talk about this a lot. It's an issue for me that we are not spending more time connected, human connection. You know, phones have become our way of talking to people, even when they're in the same house. You see people in restaurants all the time, on their phones at their table with their family, with their children. Why, I ask, why? Why is it so important that we can't connect with the people right in front of us? And he says these are not minor inconveniences. These are conditions that are affecting our mind, our body, and our spirit. And believe it or not, this is a foundational message in unity. One humanity is what we teach, connected by our divinity, which means separation is nothing but an illusion. We're always connected. Suffering is the experience of believing that we are alone, but being alone is actually a choice. Have you ever been anywhere where you didn't see people? There is absolutely no reason for people to be alone and to suffer alone. But sometimes we choose to be alone and suffer in silence. And I don't know what any of us think when we do it, and I'm guilty too. We think, oh, we don't want to bother anybody with that. Oh, it's so silly. Why say? But the truth is, when we choose to believe or live as if we're cut off from each other or from God, from love, from fear starts to grow, and then suffering follows. When we remember that we're one, connected by that divine thread between us, then the foundation of suffering literally dissolves, and we stop isolating ourselves from each other. It's my favorite thing about this community right here. I've been part of this community since 1998, and it still feels like home. The second lesson he talks about is that life is meant to be lived in connection, not survival. And I love this message he gives. He's talking about modern life and how it's trained us to endure life, to be competitive, and to protect ourselves. And he says that mindset that we've adopted eventually convinces us that life is just about survival. How many of us answer when someone says, "How are you doing?" "I'm just getting by, just trying to get by." No one's ever said that, right? Okay, I'm surviving. I've heard it. I've probably said it. But he says that it's not something just to survive. He describes community as the place where we know each other, we help each other, we find purpose in contributing to each other's lives. And he notes that community increases both life satisfaction and life expectancy, which, when you listen to Hanson talk about his mom, she's always been part of the dance community. Always. That's her people. And it's clearly got her to the age 101. From a unity perspective, community isn't optional. It serves as our spiritual infrastructure because God is expressed through our relationships with one another. And by us being present and listening and sharing joy and sorrow, that is what community is. When we don't have to wear 5 different faces to be accepted, where we can just be ourselves and it doesn't matter. And he said something very profound. When life is lived in isolation, suffering multiplies. And when life is lived in connection, suffering loses its grip. To reimagine life without suffering is for us to stop asking ourselves, how do I get through this alone? And instead ask ourselves, who am I called to walk through this with? Who might be the person to help me? I'm curious, how many times did you look at your phone this week and to check messages, but how many times did you pick up that phone and call somebody versus check your messages? We don't need to just be texting each other. We need to be calling each other. You get a text that sounds like somebody's not doing well, don't assume that writing a text back is the right answer. Just pick up the phone and call somebody. The next lesson, he says, is that it's the false way we've chosen to measure success that is creating unnecessary suffering. He said the modern triangle for success is wealth, fame, and power. The spiritual triangle of fulfillment is relationships, service to one another, and purpose. All of those 3 are lived through divine love. Love for ourselves, to find our gifts, and love for others, and being able to share those gifts with each other. And one of my favorite points that unity always makes is that prosperity is not about accumulating money or material goods. Prosperity and unity is about aligning yourself to your purpose, which creates good, which this is what keeps us alive. Purpose is what gets us out of bed. Fulfillment in unity, it says it naturally comes from us when our thoughts and our values stay aligned with love. Suffering increases when we measure life by comparison, lack, or approval, and suffering is going to decrease when we start measuring life by how fully we are expressing love every day. The next lesson he gives is about having purpose and how purpose actually heals our own suffering. He explains that people with a strong sense of purpose, especially when it's rooted in helping other people, experience greater resilience, emotional stability, and physical well being. But purpose is not something we chase. He makes a very clear point about this. He said, it's not about going after purpose. It's about letting purpose be revealed to us by asking ourselves one question: where can I express love today? And that is when our purpose shows up. Who needs me comes forward. Service is made visible to us from a unity perspective every day. We just ignore the signs. Not always, but we do miss a lot of the cues. Oh, well, I can't do this now because I had something else planned. But maybe if it's in front of us, it is for us. When we live for something greater than fear, suffering loses its hold. And I'm talking about fear in the world. Well, the Surgeon General apparently agrees with that thinking, because he said that divisiveness in our world has weakened trust and well-being, which is making it difficult for us to heal as a nation, as a community, as a family. No matter how you look at it, no matter what part of the Middle East or the US or the West you live in, doesn't matter. It's one humanity. We all came in the same exact way. And we didn't learn anything about hating people and being nasty and disliking things until we learned it from people. As children, we were just pure and curious. But no, we let people's version of life start to impact us, and then we shape ourselves accordingly. Love cannot erase diversity. It will dissolve fear. Suffering thrives wherever fear is present. So if you've been suffering, I'm going to ask about anything. I'm going to ask you, what is bothering you in terms of fear? What have you been fearful of? Healing will begin wherever love becomes the choice. And choosing love doesn't mean we're naive. It means we're choosing love from a spiritually mature perspective. Divine love, not just human love. And last, I want to share that I really believe that we could all get on the other side of this 40 days and actually leave all of our suffering behind and make this be the year that we move forward without all that baggage and all the stuff we're carrying and lying to ourselves about. Reimagining life without suffering is not to imagine a life without challenges, because if we're going to be on earth, we're going to be challenged. Life is about us growing, so pay attention to the fact that when there's a challenge, it's for our growth. But it's us imagining a life where no one faces anything alone, including us, where purpose starts to replace despair, and where love, not fear, sets the tone for our days. So I'm going to challenge us. This community is a great community that already practices most of this, but I'm going to challenge us to help everyone, including ourselves, stay with this. To first choose connecting with each other, second, to choose purpose, and third, to always choose love. To act out of love and not fear. And making these choices, I believe, will help us release the suffering we've been carrying and reimagine life as God intended for us, which is for all of us to be happy, healthy, and whole. Let's review today's lessons. Thank you. Thank you. Reimagining life without suffering requires us to first recognize the illusion of separation, remembering we are one with God always. Number 2, to remember that community is not optional. It is our spiritual infrastructure. So if you don't have a community and you're here today, you may have just found one. But if you walk out and rush to the parking lot every Sunday, it's super hard for people to incorporate you into the community. Just saying. Number 3, that prosperity is not accumulation, it is alignment to love. And number 4, that relationships heal the heart, that service awakens our joy. And the affirmation for today is simple. I live life without suffering. Let's say that together. Live life without suffering. And the quote is from Thich Nhat Hanh, and he's one of my favorite people who said some amazing things over his lifetime. And now he's gone, but I still read a lot of his stuff. He said, people have a hard time letting go of their suffering. Out of fear of the unknown, they prefer suffering that is familiar. So let's take this in for a moment. We just pause now to release the need for suffering, the need to be lonely, the thought that we can't ask for help, any idea that we feel we are not included. Instead, we include ourselves. We choose community. We recognize that when we're lifted up by one another, life is that much easier, and our joy can be seen, and divine love prevails. And life goes on without suffering. And so it is. Amen. All right. Our prayer chaplains today are Larry and Kira. I see Larry and I saw Kira this morning. There you are. I knew you were there. And they'll be here if you need prayer in person. I would also like to ask for prayers for Clark. He was here last week, and I didn't ask for prayers for him because I hadn't had a chance to check and make sure it was okay. But he lost his sister recently that he was caretaking. So if you would hold Clark in prayer, I would greatly appreciate that. And I'd also like you to hold Jerry in prayer. He just came out of 2 shoulder surgeries, and now he's dealing with sight challenges. And he told me last Sunday, but I didn't get a chance to share. So if you would just hold him in prayer too, I would greatly appreciate that. And if you have a prayer need, write it down on the card in front of you. If you're joining us online, please just go online and write the request. That'll be perfect. And then also, that's it. That's it for the, sorry, that's it for the prayer section. Let's say our giving affirmation. For those of you who are here for the first time, this is an affirmation that we say every single Sunday to affirm our greatness and our prosperity. We have faith in God as our instant, constant, abundant supply and supplier. We have faith in God to open ways when to the human sense there is no way. We have faith in God to guide us in all our ways, and our health, happiness, and prosperity are assured. Thank you, God, for your abundant good, now flowing forth to meet our every need. And so it is. And yes, we're doing the prayer peace song, and yes, we're going to hear Michael's song.
A new day, a new day. Just know the sun will rise another day. A new day, a new day, a new day will come tomorrow. A new day, let me hear you. A new day, a new day, relieved of sorrow. The sun will rise and make skies of blue that reflect the love that's inside of you. And you'll realize that you found your way and be thankful for a new day, a new day, a new day, a new day. Yeah. Big thanks to Michael for sharing this tune. I wanted to talk to him about one of his songs that might work for the message, so this one was his idea to do it this morning. So, yeah. All right, well, let's stand and sing the peace song, shall we? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
All right, people, you feel the energy? All right, take it in, deep breath, and let's say the prayer for protection for everybody. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is great. God bless you. Thank you for being here. And don't forget to stay